Turns out that a COVID test and proof of vaccination is going to be required on a Princess cruise this fall. Also, big news coming out of Kiel, Germany. We've got to talk about the Carnival Pride and then some things that will be going on there on Sunday. We also need to talk about, Amsterdam, big changes coming in Amsterdam. The chef's table here on the island, Princess, how to book those water bottles that I keep telling you about, and just lots of other updates, as well as our day here in Reykavick, Iceland. So let's go ahead and get started. Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips, and today is Friday. It is July 21st of 2023, and I want to start off by inviting you to please subscribe to our channel. We would love to have you with us. I share with you lots of valuable information. Some of it I just find doing research. A lot of it is shared by our Let's Go family members. We all try to stay up to date what's going on with traveling and cruising and just everything that we need to be aware of if we're going to go anywhere. Plus, we just love talking about cruising, even if we're staying home, so it's a fun place to be. Also, if you appreciate these updates, I would really appreciate it if you would give our channel a thumbs up, because that helps us out as well. Let's start at the top today and talk about Kiel, Germany. Now, the Carnival Pride, everybody is all abuzz what's going on with the Carnival Pride. She is the ship that was sailing in the Baltic and then had a lot of propulsion problems to the point that they were not able to go to their last port there in Göteborg, Sweden. They had to instead head straight to Germany, and everything ever since they started having those propulsion problems has not gone well. Ends up they got back to Kiel, Germany. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And they had to cancel the next cruise. Then that cruise was supposed to end in Dover, England, and so they have already Carnival has already chartered 6 airplanes to get everyone back over to Dover so that they can catch their flights or go ahead and do their travel plans that they had scheduled for after that cruise. So a lot going on there. Everyone says that Carnival is handling it very professionally, and clearly when a ship has propulsion problems, I don't really know what you can do about that other than get it fixed. So it'll be really interesting to hear if they have to cancel more cruises, just how everything is going. I know some people had probably traveled already over to Europe to do a little bit of traveling before that cruise was to start. And let me tell you, I know that Carnival is helping people return home if they had already arrived for the cruise, but also if anyone is listening, look and see if you can pick up a cruise on another cruise line. That's what I would do if I got somewhere and my cruise was canceled. See what else you can pick up, because sometimes, especially last minute, there are some really good deals. Just a thought. Now, Kiel, Germany, where the Carnival Pride is going, and from what I've read, it doesn't sound like they are going to be able to do all the repairs right there. Anyway, they have just recently discovered 2 World War II era bombs that they need to detonate to take care of. So this coming Sunday, they are going to evacuate 9,200 people from about 5,400 households, it says, right in that region there in Kiel, so that they can take care of that and hopefully no one will get hurt. Please note that the MSC Fantasia is scheduled to sail on Sunday as well, and they do not expect that sailing to be impacted because she's going to be sailing off and people will be going to the port earlier in the day, and it's not until the afternoon that they are going to have to evacuate people to take care of those World War II era bombs. Is that unbelievable? That's a lot going on in one place all at once there. So if any of you are on the Carnival Pride or were on the Carnival Pride, let us know how it's going if you wouldn't mind. We would love to hear from you. Also, the next thing I want to tell you about is changes are coming in Amsterdam. Now, Amsterdam there in the Netherlands is a big cruise port, but very recently, just this week, the city council voted to not have big cruise ships come anymore. And so it'll be really interesting to see as this nouveau and how everything rolls out, if they end up not letting any cruise ships come anymore, or just not the really big cruise ships come anymore, and when they decide to make these changes. When they voted on it, they did not have a timeline, so nobody knows how soon they want this to go into effect, so we'll be keeping an eye on that. Now, when you look at a map, Amsterdam is more inland than Rotterdam is. So Rotterdam is also a really big cruise port. And you might recall, I think it was just last summer, that when the river, the canal there between Rotterdam and Amsterdam got too low, that all of the cruise ships that were supposed to be going out of Amsterdam ended up going out of Rotterdam. People that would fly into Amsterdam would have to catch a shuttle or their whatever transport they wanted to use to be able to get out to Rotterdam to sail from there instead. So I am wondering if this change with Amsterdam is going to make it so that even more cruises sail from Rotterdam, or if cruise lines end up having to choose another port there in Europe to embark from. So a lot of changes could be on the way with this, and so we'll just keep an eye on it. I have never sailed out of Amsterdam or Rotterdam. That is on our list of things to do. It'll be really interesting too. You know, in Amsterdam, there are a lot of river boats that leave from there to go on river cruises. So I don't know if that's going to be impacted at all as well. So I guess we've got a lot to find out as this story develops. Alrighty, the next thing that I want to talk to you about, a couple of things, and they go together, is that COVID testing and proof of a COVID vaccine that are being required on a cruise. Now, we've got a Let's Go family member who will be on the sailing in October. It's a Trans-Pacific that goes from Honolulu, Hawaii to Sydney, Australia. And she was looking up information, looking actually for visa information, she said, and she came across that requirement of having to show proof of a negative COVID test and proof of a COVID vaccine to embark on that cruise. So as it gets closer, I'm looking forward to hearing if she receives any other information from Princess. And if any of you are embarking on a cruise soon and you are required to have a vaccine or to show a negative COVID test, let us know. Those requirements do come from the places that they are sailing to. You might be familiar and know that, but that's not just like Princess deciding to do that. That is the location that they are going to be sailing to requiring that. So thought you all ought to know about that. And then the next thing that goes with that is the visa question. She was initially looking up to find out about Australia and New Zealand visas. So Australia and New Zealand each have their own app, and it is super slick to apply for a visa that way. Once you get it, it is very, very smooth, and then you get your confirmation number and you're good to go. One thing, I met some very nice people yesterday on the tender, and so they mentioned that they had been to Australia and New Zealand earlier this year, so I asked them about it. On those apps, I have gone through the process to the point that I would have to pay and get a visa, and I don't want to do that. So I asked them how it worked. They said it worked very easily, but one thing to do is you can use like one person's phone and apply for other people. Like, you know, if it's you and whoever you're traveling with, you can apply for them all that way. But they said it would have been easier if they would have each used their own phone. So there's a tip for you. But be aware, like I said, there is just an app for it. And when I was looking for it in the App Store, I just literally searched Australia visa, and it comes up just fine. And you can be aware, though, that there are a lot of other apps that are through third-party vendors, and they will charge you extra to do it. And it is so easy to do just on your own that I think I can't imagine why you would do it another way. They're both very straightforward visa applications. Now, along with that, I do get a lot of questions from people asking if we need to have anyone from the United States. And by the way, no matter where you're from, I am just giving you ideas on what you need to look into. Don't take anything that I say and not look into it yourself. That's really important. I know we've got Let's Go family members all over the world, and I am absolutely delighted with that. So wherever you are, make sure what the visa requirements are from where you're traveling from. Now, the EU has historically not required visas for people traveling from the United States, people traveling from Canada, and some other countries. that is going to be changing. It was initially set to go into effect in 2023, and then I noticed that it had gotten pushed back to go into effect on November 1st of 2024, and I was just looking at it again to see if the date had changed at all, and I no longer can see that November 1st, 2024 day. The website to look at for the information on if you need to have a visa to travel to the EU here is ETIAS visa, VISA.com, and you can go through all the FAQs, through the requirements, just everything you need to know about it. But on that page it says, when do Americans need to apply for the ETIAS? It says Americans need to apply for the ETIAS, that's the abbreviation for those visas, for any trips to Europe after 2024. Okay, so I'm thinking maybe they are looking at having that go into effect as a requirement at the beginning of 2025, but we will sure be keeping our eye on it. I have looked at the application, I've gone through that. It looks very easy and straightforward. Once you apply for one of those, you don't have to do it every time you have a trip. You apply for it and it's either good for 3 years, or if your passport expires sooner than 3 years, then it expires when your passport expires. But don't worry, we will be keeping our eye out for that. But it is really important that no matter where you're traveling, whether you're going on a cruise or any other method of travel, make sure if you need a visa from the country that you are traveling from. I know that there are people that travel from other countries. They come to the US to go on cruises. There can be different requirements from the country that they're from, and the same with going on cruises to other places. For people in the US or from anywhere. We all just need to keep track of our visas. So I wanted to remind you all about that. Now, the next thing that I want us to talk about here, I keep getting a lot of questions about how to order those bottles of water. I've told you before that before you go on a Princess cruise, you can order a pack of 12 bottles, 500 milliliter bottles of water before you go. You can't order them once you're on board the ship. You have to do it before. You get 12 for $7.08. So let me tell you, you'll log in to your princess.com account and go to the cruise personalizer, click on manage this cruise for the cruise you want to buy the water for, and then it brings you into the cruise personalizer. At the top there, click on onboard services, and that'll take you to another page with a bunch of options. Click on beverage packages, and when that opens up, clear at the bottom of the page, okay? And you can order however many 12 packs you want. And then when you get on board the ship, the little papers will be there on your desk telling you to call room service when you would like them delivered. And you can have them bring them all at once. You can have them bring them one at a time if you order more than one. But it's a really slick way to get water if you don't want to book the Plus package. Another fun thing about drinks is a Let's Go family member was so kind. Apparently her husband enjoyed the sunshine daiquiris as much as I did, and found out that yep, they're not making them like they used to anymore. And so a bartender was really kind and suggested a fruit punch instead, and so I tried that and it's delicious. So any of you who are missing the sunshine daiquiri, give a fruit punch a whirl. Okay, well, just a tip for you. Another thing that I wanted to let you know, this evening we were eating our dinner in the main dining room, and our server offered us the option to go to this Wines of the World, but a whole like meal. He said it's very much like the chef's table, but they're doing it in Sabatini's at noon on a sea day. And so we let him know that we don't drink wine, and he's like, well, you can still come, just let them know you don't want any wine. So we signed up. I'll let you know how it goes, and I'll let you know all about it. It's $70 a person, which is a lot to us, but we thought, well, I want to tell you all about it so that if you get this offer, then you'll know if you should accept or not. But they said that the whole dinner is run by the executive chef on the ship and the sous chef, and it should be a wonderful meal. So we thought that would be really fun. But in the course of that conversation, the maitre d' came over, and I was talking to him, and he mentioned that they do have the chef's table here on the Island Princess. And they run it down in the Bordeaux dining room on deck 5, clear at the back. And so I wanted to make you all aware of that. When we think about the chef's table, you cannot book the chef's table before you get on the cruise. It's not in the app. It's not in the cruise personalizer. You have to do it right when you get on board. So truly, I always tell people, because this is the truth, if there's like two of you traveling together, somebody go to customer service and the other one go try to call dining services. And if that's not working, go to the main dining room, try talking to the maitre d' there, and just see who can get you booked on it first, because it is really popular. And so as he told me that they do have the chef's table on board, he said they have already done it twice during our cruise. And so we have been on this cruise now for 9 days. It's a 14-day cruise, and today is day number 9. So I thought I'd bring you up to date on that. Then also with our main dining room experience this evening, we have just been moving between the Provence and the Bordeaux dining rooms, thoroughly enjoying it, but never finding our servers. All of our waiters and servers have been outstanding. We don't have any complaints, but we just didn't find any that really resonated with us until this evening. This evening we ate in the Provence dining room, and our servers were Sankrit and Kevin. Sankrit is from India and Kevin is from Kenya, and outstanding, absolutely delightful to associate with, lovely to visit with. We thoroughly enjoyed our dinner this evening, and they were a main part of that. The food was actually delicious this evening. Gordon got the fish that's called cobia, C-O-B-I-A, and I got a vegetarian dish that had mashed potatoes. I can't remember what it's called. We'll put it down below, or Gordon will put it here on the screen. It has mashed potatoes and then shredded baked cabbage and then cheese on top. It was absolutely delicious. And then for dessert, I got the flourless chocolate cake, and it's not like the flourless chocolate cake used to be. It's like a little cup-shaped thing, but it was delicious. It was chocolate, and then there was a little strawberry sauce around the edges with a few blueberries. It was absolutely delicious. And Gordon got the lemon meringue cheesecake. We had gotten that last week, and it was really good, so we decided to try that. But really, really a shout out to both Sankrit and Kevin. Absolutely outstanding in every way. So that was a pleasure this evening. Now I wanted just to let you know what we did in Reykavick today. So we got here at about 6:30 this morning. 6:30, right in there. I was watching as we were coming in, and trying to get ready and video all at the same time and enjoy seeing everything. It was very overcast looking today. It wasn't really cold. We didn't need a warm coat or anything, but it definitely very overcast. So we set off on our excursion. We had to be in the main dining room at 7 in the morning, and ours was called the Golden Circle. The people there in the Princess in the Provence dining room that were running the excursion said that they had 500 people on board signed up for those excursions. So they have like 6 bus loads going. It would have to be more than 6. But anyway, they had a lot. They mentioned 6 buses right off. Oh, it's probably some going in the afternoon, because there was a morning one and one that went later. Anyway, it turned out to be a really good tour. I would say our tour guide was just okay. He wasn't bad, but he wasn't great. But we went and saw the coolest things. We got to go see the Mid-Atlantic Rift, where on one side you have like the North American plate, and on the other side you have what they call here the Eurasia plate. So interesting. So we got to walk down in between those two places, like right where the rift is, and see that. Then we got to go to see Gullfoss waterfall, which was absolutely beautiful. While we were there, they served us lunch, which was absolutely delicious tomato soup, some of the best tomato soup I've ever had before, and then fresh, delicious salmon. It was absolutely wonderful. Oh, and we also got to go to Geysir, Geysir. It's an area there where they actually have geysers, and so we'll put in some footage from that. But it's why geysers are called geysers. It's because back in the 1700s, when they discovered the geysers, it was in this area called geysers. So they called geysers. That's why they named geysers geysers, because that's where they were, and that name carried over to everywhere else in the world that geysers are. I thought that was really interesting. So we really enjoyed that stop. And then finally we stopped at a geothermal power plant which was very interesting. They use the hot water that is so plentiful there, go through a whole process. They replace water so that they don't deplete those resources. It was really, really interesting. We thoroughly enjoyed that. So then once we got back here, we went ahead and they have a shuttle that runs from right where you get on and off the ship over to, it's really close to where like all the shopping is. And like when you look at the map and you see like the Prime Minister's offices, that beautiful home looking place, and then like I said, a bunch of shopping streets and where the Opera House is, they have a shuttle that is free, and they just call it the cruise shuttle, and it takes you from right where you get on and off the ship over there, and then it'll pick you up again once they drop you off. It just goes back and forth, and you can stay over there as long as you want. So that worked out really nice. And so once we got back, we went and had a lovely dinner, and here we are. Really cool thing though, that volcano has been, you know, erupting and erupting and erupting, and we've been so excited about it. And they said that they have had actually beautiful weather here lately, and yesterday was beautiful, but the weather had been blowing so that it had not been blowing any of the smoke from the volcano towards Reykavick. Today it blew towards Reykavick. So I guess the biggest effect that we are going to get from that volcano is having, it is very smoky air, and the tour guide said that when they were posting the weather quality, the air quality today, it is just medium due to the amount of particles in the air from the volcano. So I know it's funny, but I thought that was kind of exciting. The sunshine came out for a little while today, but it has been cloudy, and then you add the smoke to it, and it is a little lower visibility than we would have really thought would be optimal, but we still had a wonderful day. And so if you have any questions about Reykavick, we got a city map, and so I can answer questions if you've got questions about that. Yeah, if you have questions about anything else to do with cruising, let us know. We are really having truly just a wonderful time here, and I'm really glad that you would come with us. Hopefully we will get this video up before our live sail away this evening, and so make sure that you come and join us. And if this gets up a little bit after that, catch our live sail away. Thank you very much for sticking with me. I'll be talking to you all again really soon. You all take really good care. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye. Here we are. We're not quite to Reykavick yet, but you can see land over there. Oceania Riviera.
places.